Hello, hi my good people. I hope you are good. I'm also fine. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. Energy flows where attention goes. So I know people have talked about, attention is the current currency, what you pay attention to, where do you spend your time, how do you spend your time with people, and life is all about energy. And there is a lot of things to learn from this because where we focus on, that is where our energy will focus on. And yes, attention is the new currency. But my question is, what are you attentive to? So, what kind of content are we watching? What kind of conversation are we listening to? Because there are a lot of things out here. There's a lot of content in here, TikTok. Everything is there. People dancing, people gossiping, people cooking, people doing what. So we are living in an age where there's a lot of information, even for our kids. Maybe unakaa hapo unajua mtoto wako anafanya homework, kumbe ashaingia sijui wapi anafanya mambo zake. So if you don't control even what we are watching, if you don't control how we are feeding our mind, you find that the people who wake up in the morning and they take their phone, they start to scroll TikTok. They want to see what is trending, nani aliachwa, nani alicheat, nani sijui just negative things. And they scroll that phone for 1 hour. After that, they are tired because they have watched things that are draining their energy. They have watched things that are bringing a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety. Because now you have watched how someone was killed. Now you have watched how I don't know who died where. So there's a lot of things that you are watching that are really, really destroying our mental state. So I know in Kenya, when something has happened, maybe a socialite, maybe they're breaking, maybe the marriage is not working, maybe they have found out that maybe the DNA has turned to be negative, this kid does not belong to this man. We tend to focus a lot on other people's lives. And this means that we are running away from something within us. If you have a lot of things to do with your life, you don't even have time even to focus on other people's lives. But because we are so idle, because we're running away from our fears, because we don't want to face reality, we find ourselves focusing on other people's lives that are not even concerning us. Guy, during the interview, he said he's not in Kenya. It was a US-based interview. And this guy said, me, you'll never find me wearing someone else's t-shirt like these footballers. And he was saying, I'm not like against people who wear footballers t-shirts, but for me, I'm like, how will this help me? What have I benefited from this? How will this improve my life? And for him, he was saying, yes, I know people find humor in different things, but I don't understand how people will be spending every weekend going to watch football from every Saturday. They are going to watch football every during, I think, the World Cup, that I don't know, people play football every day. So he was saying he doesn't understand why someone will be watching football from Monday to Monday and their life is not lifing. So this guy was saying, if you're going to do those things, do them if you know that you'll not come back home and start getting stressed and start getting panic attacks because you don't have money. So most of us, we have 24 hours, all of us. But what are we doing with our 24 hours? What are we focusing on? Personally, I don't watch news, and I know so many people who don't watch news because for me, news is all about negative energy. Somebody has been killed, somebody has done what, somebody has done what. So for me personally, I don't watch news. And if you're watching news, it's okay. But you find that the things that you watch, you just feel scared. You just feel like the world is ending. You just feel like, hey, this world is very, very bad place to be. You just feel like, these men are just dogs. These men are just, they're going to kill all of us. Just feeling like, women are cheating. I cannot even marry. I cannot even trust my spouse because you're watching a lot of things that are brainwashing your mind. And whatever you are watching, the algorithm of our phones works very smart. Whatever you keep on watching is what they'll keep on bringing to your feeds. So you find that if you're that person who is always watching negative things, the system will always bring for you a lot of negative things. If you're that person who watch a lot of encouragement, a lot of motivational speakers, that is what the algorithm will bring to you. So you find that as you scroll, unapatananga tuna vitu zako zenye una watch. So you can imagine someone who always focusing on bad thing, cruel thing, people who are infidelity, you know, people who don't have good heart, people who are killing one another. What kind of life will you live? This will shape the view of the world. That is why even kids who are raised in very toxic environment, they tend to fear everyone. They are always hyper vigilant. Even when they are walking, kitu tu ipite like itoe sound, they will run, they will shake, they will sweat, because they have been wired to this toxic environment. Children who are being raised in areas where there's a lot of gunshots, these kids, they're being disturbed mentally, and they cannot even sleep at night. They cannot even have that peace even in class, because they're always anxious and they're always wondering what will happen next. So make sure that what you are feeding yourself with is something that is building your soul, something that is building your spirit. Because if you focus on the positive side of life, everything will be positive. As I've said, life is all about energy. If you focus on the negative side of life, negative things will be happening around you, and everything that you watch, every conversation that you listen to will always end up to be negative. And we are learning also about our thoughts and our actions. So it is all about our thoughts that will lead to our actions. If you feel like men cannot be trusted, we'll always have trust issues when it comes to relationships. If you feel like women cannot be trusted, we'll always have trust issues when it comes to relationship. When you feel like marriage is a bad place and marriage ubamba mafala, we'll always, even when you get married, you'll be doing a disservice to that person, because we'll not enjoy anything in that marriage. And we'll always suspecting your spouse, because according to you, marriage ubamba mafala. And if you focus on the negative side of life, your actions will always be negative. Even when somebody tells you something that is positive, you'll brush it off, because you are conditioned to negative things. You will always make bad investment. We mahali pesa za watu zinapotea ndio wewe unaenda. I remember this guy was saying in one of the books that he used to have this friend who was making bad decisions every time. Like akiinvest mahali inachomeka. So he used to keep this friend, because this friend used to help him to know where not to invest. It is a funny story though. So he'll call this friend and be like, when are you investing? What are you investing in? And the friend will be like, no, I'm buying this stock. For him, that was a red flag. If this case is buying this stock, so this is something to avoid, like a plague. So some of us, we have friends who they will help us not to make bad decisions. So just ask them, what are you up to today? And if they tell you, I'm going to do this, we're like, kose kwenye nafaa kuenda. So make sure that you focus on the positive side of life, more so the content that you are watching, what we are spending our time watching. There's a lot of content out here, and I know there are very beautiful marriages out here that are working, people that are really enjoying their marriage, but because of this one this one relationship or this one marriage that did not work, and it is all over social media now, everybody is seeing marriage as something bad, but there are those people who they're really enjoying it. So who are you focusing on? Because if you want to focus on people who their marriages are working, you'll find them. They always say, when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when you are ready to learn about marriages that are working, you'll always find them. But when you have determined and when you are ready to learn about marriages that are not working, you'll always have, there are so many out here, because they're being projected to us, they're being sold to us, so that people can have that fear, so that people can feel like it is okay to divorce, it is okay to leave your partner, it is okay to cheat, it is okay to do this and that, it is okay to have 3 baby mamas, it is okay to do this. So you find that who is your role model? So as we close, what everything that you're doing every day, does it build you or does it make you to be stuck? Because in life, there are only two ways. You're either growing or dying. You're either moving forward or moving backwards. So everything that you do every day, are they stones that are building your future, or are they things that are bringing your future down? Because no matter how big we think, it always starts with a small step taken every day. So this issue or this story of asking someone, where do you want to see yourself in the next 10 years? What are you planning to do in the next 5 years? What are your goals? Just watch their lives. Just watch how they are solving their problems, how they're relating to other people, what they are doing in their day-to-day basis. We just tell you, this person will be here after 10 years. They'll be here after 10 years. The choices they make, the conversation they're having, the things they're listening to, how they reason, how they spend their 24 hours. What are they doing in the 24 hours? What are they engaging in? What kind of friends? Stop asking people where you want, like at Isijui, where will you be in 10 years? And they will tell you, I'll be the CEO. But they are sleeping the whole day. They don't even wake up to go and look for a job. They don't even send application letters. They don't even have good relationship with people. And they're there telling you, you know, you marry the vision, you know, after 10 years, we'll have this and this and this. What are they doing at the current moment? So if every time you're calling them, they're sleeping, if every time you're calling them, they're having a chat with a friend, if every time you're calling them, they're at, I don't know, in your stadium, I don't know, at Kasarani, I don't know, at where, watching football every day, then it is upon you to decide if this is the kind of a woman or the kind of a man I want to spend the rest of my life with, because will they be there to take care of their children? Will they be there to nurture the children? Will they be there even to have time with their spouses? Will they be there even to spend time with their siblings? So don't ask people where you want, where they see themselves. Just audit what they do on a daily basis, and you will know where these people will be. So make sure that you put your energy in the right place. Make sure that you focus, you put your attention in the right content, and you put your time. You cannot buy back your time. If you're turning 40 today, that year is gone. If you're turning 20 today, hiyo imeenda hivyo. So how you spend your time, as I've said, really matters, even more than how you spend your money. Because money can be lost and you can gain money. But once you have lost your time, time imeenda. So for now, I pray that God will help us, that we'll always focus on the positive side of life. We'll always put our attention, our energy, our time to things that will make us grow. And as I finish, always remember, you're competing against yourself. You're not competing against anyone else. As long as you're not where you were yesterday, as long as you're not where you were last month, as long as you're not where you were last week, as long as you're not where you were last year, you are doing well. Progress is progress, regardless of how slow, how fast. As long as you're making progress, you are in the right track, and always compete against yourself. Don't do something because some so and so is doing it. Don't start a business because somebody has started it. Just compete against yourself, and you'll have peace of mind. You'll sleep like a baby, and you'll always have the energy and the courage to face a new day. So for now, bye bye.